Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. Another video, a different face. We've been talking to different people all week, actually, rather than on panel shows tonight. We've got the brilliant Luke. Luke, I haven't seen you for ages, mate. How's things? First and foremost, before we get stuck into Leeds United stuff.
Yeah, it seems to have been a while, doesn't it? Just been hectic, busy, kids' birthdays, summer holidays, all that sort of shenanigans. So,
you went on holiday to where did you go? Barcelona, was it?
Just outside, Santa Susana took the girls up there. So yeah, it's been good. I've just been hectic, mate. To be honest, I've had to have people covering our podcast and that as well, which but we're on a stupid bloody rotor. There's that many of us, but I've still had to have people to fill in and that because the Wu-Tang Clan lives on without me, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. It's the show must go on, mate. You're a brave man. Like I'm thinking, every holiday I've had my partner, I'd shit myself taking my kids abroad. I think on my own, I think I'd shit myself.
Mate, it was hard work, especially on the way back, man.
In airports and that.
Yeah, God. Yeah, they were sleeping all over. They were sleeping on washing lines and galloping head jugs and that.
Be mental, man, mental. Look, tonight, obviously, we spoke earlier on. What shall we discuss? And I know you're a bit like me sometimes in terms of you maybe think there's been a massive overreaction sometimes to what I perceive as, say, like 1 loss in 5. I know people are drawing on, going back to last season, and people are talking, when I hear podcasts, about not having a sort of affection towards the manager and the style of play. And is that why we're all so quick to be like, well, this isn't working? But we were having a chat of like, because of the big man Bielsa we've had, and I've been saying it on my show as well, is there a case that this is the norm? You don't always have, like, I can't think pre-Bielsa, we didn't really have that either, did we, bro? But it's almost like, has Bielsa ruined football for us? Do you know what I mean?
Look, mate, I've had this conversation a few times, and I think there's a case to be made. And look, categorically, some people are going to completely deny it and disagree with me, and that's fine. This is a point of view; it's an opinion. But I think there's certainly a case to be heard there, because football was absolutely fantastic, arguably the best I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I was there for O'Leary and stuff, and we had some fantastic players back then, but the football was different. It reinvented the wheel pretty much for me in terms of what we were seeing. And to a lot of people, that's their earliest memory of or getting back into Leeds or whatever. It's not necessarily because
there wasn't a season ticket waiting list pre-Bielsa, was there?
Well, exactly. Point proven. And I think for me, it's the expectation was we were going to have a go regardless, and we were going to play an exciting brand of football, and we were going to enjoy it, even if we got pumped. And that resonated. And we were quite happy to be that Leeds United. We were everybody's second team, which I couldn't stand, by the way.
No.
But now the expectation and the reality is that no matter who comes in, unless it's somebody similar who plays a similar style. And I know some people are going to be calling for the guy at West Brom, whose name is completely Corberan. Who was anybody who's been in a room with Bielsa, basically, people are going to be calling for. But yeah, I think because we were so, I don't want to use the word entitled as a fan base, but now because we've seen that brand of football and turning up at week in, week out, and sometimes losing 5-2 and sometimes winning 4-1. But people forget, actually, he struggled with a lower block and his substitutions weren't great. And these are things that I think, actually, do you know what? You're sort of contradicting yourself. Look, I love the man. I think everything he did for Leeds, is not just as a football club, but as a city, was fantastic. And I'm not going to lie, it was the most exciting football I've seen Leeds United play in my lifetime.
100%.
And yeah, I think we have been spoiled, and I think we are becoming a little bit, and I hate to say it, a little bit entitled as a fan base, a little bit Liverpoolian, a little bit, the expectation is much higher than actually the reality. We're not in the Premier League. We can't attract a manager of.
Do you know what I always say, Luke? And people probably don't like it, but in the last 2 decades, we're a championship team.
Yeah.
We're a championship team. As much as we have delusions of we're massive and all this. But when you actually lay down the cold hard facts, we are a championship team. Norwich have been in the Prem more than us. Fucking Burnley have been in the Prem more than us. Half of the West Brom have been in the Prem more than us in the last 2 decades. Hull. I mean, we were there for 3 seasons, and that is all we've had in like a very long time. So like, I hear what, mate. I do agree with you. Like, I have to agree with you, and I do think that's why, like, when after I go on social media and people are calling Farker all sorts, and sort of likening him to different coaches, that you think, well, they can't actually lace his boots. I mean, someone keeps suggesting, I'll bring up his comment, and people have suggested it on about bringing in Moyes. Moyes is a worse style of football than what we're seeing now. So if a team put up a low block now against Moyes, how the fuck Moyes is the low block? Do you see what I'm saying? So how does Moyes have the answers to break down a low block? I'm not sure people really are thinking in that respect.
Do you know, Joe, just on your point there about struggling to break down low block, that doesn't necessarily ring true either. I certainly for me, and I think going back to your point you made about 2-2 and 2 this season, 2-2 and 1, sorry, this season, 2 draws, 2 wins, and a defeat in the league. Sorry,
yeah.
And people are still throwing this 4-14 at me, but they still won't resignate, and they won't actually admit that we went on the best unbeaten run in the club's history under Daniel Farker last season. Yeah, that's totally gone out the window. But actually, we'll use the sample size that suggests we've only won 4 games in 14. But they won't.
Do you know what the best thing to come back with is, mate? What I've been doing. Well, don't have a go at me for saying we got 90 points then, because that's last season as well. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I just find it very, very difficult in a minute. And look, had we not lost at the weekend, I would probably anticipate we're going to have a very different conversation tonight. We probably wouldn't be looking back and understand. But the reaction online suggests that we do need to be having this conversation. Simply because people are saying Fark out. And look, I'm seeing a lot of these polls, and I'm voting Fark out no, and the majority are voting yes, which is absolutely baffling me. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I think we've only had, other than in the league, I think we've only had one half of bad football this season, and I think that was the second half at Burnley.
Second half, yeah, I would say West Brom as well.
I thought that was a good result at West Brom away.
Good result, but the performance was
sorry, it was a bit dim, wasn't it? It was a bit lackluster, but I don't see any. I see improvements in this season already, and this style, and he has tweaked it. We are opening and carving teams up a little bit more often, but we're just not getting that end product again, which sounds a very familiar subjects that we're probably going to have to go through. So yeah, I don't think it's as bad as people are making out. As simple as that. It's probably in short.
Yeah, I just because I'm getting to my nemesis, but he knows how to win, Joe. You have run out of excuses for Joe, so now you're saying the fans are entitled. No, Farker also knows how to win, Sean. It's 1 loss in 5, so for you to suggest more, like, honestly, mate, you're well off the mark. But we do have a fans show tomorrow with JT at 10 o'clock about Fark in, Fark out, so you can get involved on that and get your points across. But you're suggesting there that Moyes won't lose a game of football, I think, and I think what we're trying to get down to, I think is that there is a massive overreaction, and I think a lot of that, what we're trying to get down to, what me and Luke are discussing, is like, why as a fan base after 1 loss do we want to hit the reset button and say get the manager out after 1 loss? And why is that? Because in previous seasons we wouldn't have done that. We didn't do that last season. So what is it now? Is it because of Bielsa and the football that we saw? Or is it a nervousness even within the fan base, like we must go up? Do you think there's some of that in it, Luke, that we know just how important it is to get up this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's imperative that we get promoted this season, I think, for us to I mean, I'm not. I mean, that's probably a little bit polar and a little bit all or nothing. But it's not imperative that we get promoted. Next season is our last chance based on chance and finances and everything like that. But this season will be our best chance, I think. I don't think there's any teams in the league that look exceptionally brilliant. I think there's a few teams gone off well, but I don't think there's any team that look out of this world. So I think this is probably a better opportunity for us to be promoted than last season, arguably, because I don't see there being an Ipswich. I don't see there. I see there being a lot of teams very similar near the top. So I don't think there'll be any sort of one or two teams that run away with it, and we have a lot of catching up to do and go on the best run in the club's last 70 years. But yeah, I think we've got to be a little bit fairer, and we've got to have a little bit more patience. Look, we've brought how many new players in? We've lost 4 of our most important players, or 3 certainly. And things are going to take time. And I think I personally have seen enough in terms of improvement to not fully understand this Fark-out narrative. And after one loss in the league, you know, we probably shouldn't have won that. Sorry, probably shouldn't have lost that game at the weekend on another day. We shouldn't have drawn against Pompey. You know, we should have hammered them as well. And then we beat.
This is it, isn't it? Mark says, like, I don't understand the hysteria, because if Joseph Nontod scored and had the penalty, we would have won. And then these same people will be saying how good we are.
Exactly. One of the tweets I made after the game was they couldn't wait, could they? And it was almost like there was this group of people online that have already made their mind up about Farke and couldn't wait for that first loss of the season.
Agreed
to actually use that. And it's true. And it's really, really unfortunate. And
people won't admit it, but they are.
They've had a bookmark tweet. They've been waiting. They've set a draft up, and as soon as we've lost, it's happened. And look, people will say we didn't get promoted last season. We've lost our best 4 players. Well, the season before that, we lost Sinisterra, Adams, Harrison, Rodrigo, all the other loanees as well. So it's not like it's not new to Farke that we've lost 4 of our most important players. We've gone into a new season. We've replaced them like we did last season with Ampadu and with others. So it's we've just got to be a little bit patient. They're not going to sack him. They're not going to spend this money in the window and then buying players that suit his particular system and then say, you know what, one loss, relegated side Burnley, rip it up, fuck it, we'll just go and start again with somebody else. Not going to happen. Who do you replace him with?
Yeah, no, I know. And look, it's not on us to have to go and select that manager, but I hear what you're saying. Like, for me, and Luke's put a great stat in.
I saw that,
starring comments. Farke over 5 seasons has a 1.86 points per match ratio. No one other than Bielsa has higher. That tells you all you need to know about look. I think a lot of it is maybe coming down to style, potentially, and when we come up against low blocks, and you know, but at the end of the day, obviously, if in 4 games' time, let's say, because I think 4 games would take us up towards nine games in total. If we're still having this conversation in 4 games' time, then I think fair enough, because, you know, we're going into a second international break. We've got 4 tough games coming up. If we were to, I don't know, let's say we don't pick up, let's say we get 6 points and we're still well out of the playoffs. I think at that point, Luke, it's fair. We can say, right, okay, West Brom or whoever's starting to build a gap, we can't afford that, and look at the squad. But after 1 loss, I mean, after being undefeated in 4, it just feels a little bit too much, man.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. Dave Thornton's made a point here. If my auntie had a cook, she'd be my uncle. They didn't score and we lost and never looked like winning. Now, whose fault is that? Are you blaming Farke for that they didn't score? Or are you blaming the players? Because it almost looks, you know, counterproductive. Does that message? Because who are you blaming? I don't. Yeah. We didn't look like winning, but actually, had they scored, we would have won. So, are you saying Farke's tactics worked and we should have scored and we would have won, or we didn't look like winning because the players? You know, I honestly don't know where we are at the minute in terms of a fan base and why we're so reactive. It doesn't suit us. Do you know what I mean? It's. So I had a conversation the other day about somebody was on about the atmosphere at Ellen Road these days, and you have to play an exciting brand of football to excite the fans. Well, we had a great atmosphere under fucking Stephen under Neil Warnock.
We were there. You
know what I mean? It's don't start using that.
No.
And that almost contributed to my point around being spoilt by Bielsa, because everyone now expects this brand of football that's gonna get everybody on the edge of the seat. Bro, so stood up as we all do anyway.
You and me. I've said before, man, like you had people like Jason Pearce, Paul Green, Michael Tong, Michael Brown, Noel Hunt. It was literally fullbacks were just banging it upfield, man, and there was no cohesion. Steve Morrison, all these sort of heads. So, and like you said, the atmosphere was banging. So it's nothing to do with the style of play. I genuinely feel it's probably expectancy, because we expect to win. Yeah, we expect to win though now, right? Yeah. Because the squad's good enough. We've got a good manager, a very good manager at this level. There's been a lot of money pumped into it. We're all nervous because we want to get back to the Premier League, I think, as well. Like them seasons where we were, middling team, we probably had no aspirations in back of our mind, probably thinking, yeah, we might have a go at playoffs, but we never thought we were going to fucking win leagues. Do you know what I mean? And now maybe that with Farke and everything, it all just is a culmination. I even think, I don't know how you feel, but the second season under Bielsa didn't feel nothing like this second season under Farke either.
Nah.
I don't know why, because you could argue it was similar. Like we lost in the playoff semi under Bielsa. We go into next season, right, come on, this is our time. This time we lose in playoff final, and I don't know, it just don't feel the same. I can't remember us having conversations about Bielsa out. And let's not forget, we went on a winless run, if you remember, in that second season where we were close to like 10 games or something like that, where Nottingham Forest beat us. Do you remember? And they put up that like Dawson, and then we went to Brentford and got a draw, and it re-kick-started us again. Yeah, because we all remember Luke Ayling after Forest. Do you remember that interview when he looked white as a ghost? We were all going at that point like, get Bielsa out, or this isn't working.
No.
So I don't know why it is so different.
I think we're very quick to blame somebody out, and I think it's very easy to put it on Farke when certainly after a second half performance against Burnley. Look, it's reactive. It's the most recent thing we've got to react to.
Yeah,
people want to ignore the good stuff that's happened earlier on in the season or last season, and just bring up the shit stuff, because that suits how they feel currently. I think if we actually take a step back and take a deep breath, I think in reality people probably understand that it's not that easy to get somebody in a Farke's caliber at this level. It's not. Bielsa was a 1 in a million shot. That would never ever happen again. So we need to get over it, and we need to fully understand. I think one thing for me as well, if Paddy Bamford had missed those 2 chances at the weekend, we wouldn't be blaming Farke now. It'd be Paddy Bamford lost us that game. Do you see what I mean?
I said that. Yeah, of course.
I think.
Yeah.
And look, this is nothing. I don't think the players should necessarily be blamed. Although they did miss gilt-edged chances, I also don't think it's Farke. I think it's a culmination of both. The system, the tactics were working, because we should have won that game arguably 2 or 3-1, because they didn't create anything other than Solomon's mistake. Who, by the way, did you see his apology online?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
He came out and apologized, saying it was his fault that we lost, which I quite rated as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But yeah, it is just. I don't know if it's the day that we live in, where everybody wants results instantly. Everybody can go and buy something online and it be delivered.
It's click of a finger, in it. Click of the finger.
Yeah, you can go online and buy a computer game and it'll be delivered to you.
Yeah.
And there's no queuing outside shops anymore. You don't have to go out and rent a video. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's just this whole generation, and I mean myself included, want everything yesterday. And I think with football, you've just got to sometimes be a little bit patient. There's some great 100%. Examples out there in terms of, Villa should have been relegated. They've won in the Champions League tonight, for instance.
3-0, man. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's football. And I just think I am seeing enough positives, and I'm seeing enough in that, exactly that, Mr. Dodd, instant gratification. Everybody wants that feel good factor immediately. They say that that opening your phone is like having a line of cocaine nowadays to receive a message. The way your brain triggers and receiving a message is actually that dopamine or whatever it is that in your brain is actually similar. And
it's the gamification of life, bro. Everything's like a computer game, man. Everything, honestly. I agree with you. Definitely. We've got some comments. I've been starring them as we go, so we can get into some topics.
Cool.
Matt says, I don't think we are spoilt. Bielsa showed us what you can do with great coaching and not a great squad. Now we have a better squad and underachieving. I think in response to that, Matt, though, there ain't Bielsa's about the gaff, unfortunately. There just isn't. Like, I can give you some examples, say, in the league, for example, like Danny Roll came in, got a tune out of Chef Wednesday. We're all expecting big things. The level of players he's got aren't there. Not everyone's Bielsa, and this is where we're talking about, like, maybe being spoilt, because how many Bielsas are there out there that will come to the Championship and be able to do what he can? And are we underachieving? Really? Like, yes, we didn't go up last season, but it is only 5 games. If after more games we're still in this same position, then you could argue, yes, we're underachieving. But unfortunately, like we found under Bielsa, you can't spank every team 4-5-0. It just doesn't happen. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I don't necessarily think we're underachieving. I think we were 1 goal away from being promoted last season, which shows you, it's 2 goals if we'd have wanted to win the game, but we lost by 1 goal in the playoff final. Given Ipswich and Leicester's start, would any of us expected to even be anywhere near them in the season? We managed to claw it back, and then we blew it. But in terms of this season, it's far too early to be saying we're underachieving. Look, we've had a couple of poor results, yes, this season. But do I think we're underachieving? Absolutely not. I think we're probably where we are and where we should be. That again it goes back to my question of what are the expectations? Where should we be now? Do people want us to win every game? Because that ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Is it?
And people are very, very quick to forget how much we struggled against that low block. And people mention this all the time. The
subs is the one. Someone said to me the other day, Bielsa used to make changes during game time. I was like, when? He used to bring on Tyler Roberts. Even when we were losing in cup games, right? He'd have 3 subs pre-planned. And even when we were losing, he would still make them changes. And you're like, no, we're behind, Bielsa. What are you doing? Do you know what I mean? But he would still do it. So I don't believe, like, everything's always better when it's gone. The grass is always greener and
sentiment,
of course. But Bielsa was a nightmare for his subs, bro, if we're being honest. He was a nightmare. I can remember 1 or maybe twice where he hooked Calvin after 25 minutes. That's a real, like, this isn't working, I'm going to change it. But outside of that, they were all pretty much just pre-planned subs, weren't there?
Yeah, and the other thing is how stubborn Farker is in comparison to anybody else we've had before. But actually, our most stubborn manager, arguably in history, was Marcelo Bielsa, because he was playing Dan James at number 9 week in, week out, irrespective of what he did. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I know we didn't have many other options at that time, but yeah, if we're actually sensible and rational about things and take a step back and actually take a deep breath, then actually we're not doing too bad. There's the echo chambers that are social media, and you'll have your groups, and they seem to be growing, unfortunately. These groups of negativity, but it is what it is. As soon as he wins a few games, what are they going to do then? How are they going to feel? Like, how do they feel? Then?
Like, it's what I said. I said, what are you going to do if he wins the next 2? Like, you're going to look stupid after saying, like, this manager's get him out. After 1 game, I could understand after 3. Like, say if we genuinely lost the next 2, then there's going to be a conversation, and rightly so. But after 1, like, I just don't understand it. Like Joe says here, like Tyler Roberts, Alioski, Shackleton on, regardless of what's happening.
We lost to Wigan away with 10 men. Yeah, Wigan at home. Was it at home with 10 men? It wasn't.
It was at home, bro. No, it was at home. It was at home. We missed a penalty. We missed a penalty, and then we were just Jack Harrison crossing the box. Reece James played at centre back for them on loan, and he just fucking headed absolutely everything, man. He was a machine that day. And so I remember thinking, this kid's mint.
We lost away at Ipswich, and who were already relegated, and missed a penalty.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Everything's always greener. Like I say, away at Forest, we lost as well, and they thought they were going up. I remember, and then we went on a run, and Sophie says, what does Farcar as a manager add to this team Style of play, poor, sub-surrenders, no set-piece planning. But that's such a wild take because we got 90 points. Like, this is what I don't like as well, and this is what Popey said on Don't Go to Bed Just Yet. People calling him tactically inept. He got 90 fucking points. A manager that can get that many points in one season is not tactically inept. And to say he's not adding anything when we were unbeaten in 4, and really the stats say we battered Burnley. And if we don't slip, it's a point, and we're not having this conversation even on the back of a point, I don't think. So to say he's not adding anything, I come back to that point of like, that means me and Luke could turn up on Saturday and win a game if it's all about players. Cardiff are bottom of league, right? We're miles better than them. That means we could stand on the coach after a week and just go, right, go and win. The facts are, Errol Bullock would fucking school us, and we wouldn't have a clue what's going on, would we, Luke? Do you know what I mean?
Well, speak for yourself, mate. I'm quite handy on a football pitch. But
do you know what I mean? Though there's levels to this game, man, isn't there?
Yeah. And
you know,
and interesting you say. Actually, we had Simon Johnson on with us after the after the game against Burnley to do the Brady and Cope post-match review, and he came on for the last 25 minutes. So if you haven't watched, go watch. But in a nutshell, he basically said that this passing side to side, that is modern day football, and they're trying to create passing lanes. He said the only thing he doesn't like about it is the speed of the transition, so the speed they do it sometimes. But that is ultimately how football is played now.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's right. And Joe's hit the nail on the head, man. Dropping points against West Brom, which is everyone's favourite manager now, and Burnley relegated last season, is clearly bad enough to be sacked. And that's a great point when you put it like that, isn't it? Because this one, you know, when I seen loads of takes after Carlos Corberán won at the weekend and got on top, look what Carlos is doing with that squad. I'm thinking, well, our manager didn't get beat by him. We're the only blemish on their record. So what does that say for Farke?
And if Farke's so tactically inept, he beat two football messiahs in McKenna and Maresca last season, twice home and away. So who's the better?
Very good.
I mean, if he's tactically inept, who's done that? Like, you know what I mean?
One of them's at Chelsea. One of them's at Chelsea now.
One of them's at Chelsea, and one of them's just been given a new deal, which is mega money. I understand in McKenna. So I mean, it's they're mad takes out there. They're just not very well thought out takes. And look, we're all entitled to our opinion, and we do watch football with our eyes. It's not played on a piece of paper or a stats. And I'm not a massive fan of stats in the first place, other than your actual hard stats. I know I did share an XG.
No, I'm going to bring it up now, actually, because but I do think it is great though, Luke. It's a decent barometer for those. What it does show is that we're creating chances, right? Which is, we're told that we're not. Let me just find it.
We're not conceding many chances, which is arguably more important, but we are conceding goals.
It's taking a lot of scrolling this. You don't have to tweet, mate.
Oh, mate, I know, yeah. Some right shite as well. But yeah, I mean, I, as I said before, I'm not a massive lover of XG and whatever else, but it does... I mean, there's a reason why we're sort of over a goal more expected. Yeah. In terms of difference, higher than anybody else.
Exactly. Like if we look at it, so for people like on there, it shows open play XG. So how many chances Leeds United have created, and we're top of that. We're top of that in the Watford, West Brom, Coventry.
Yeah, we're about sixth in that, sorry.
Right, okay. So we're about sixth in that. And then XG against, I think we're the lowest.
Oh, by far, by a long shot, yeah.
So we don't concede chances. We create a lot, and we have the highest differential between the two. So 4.06.
We're over a goal.
Yeah. It's
higher than anybody else.
So
which is 25%, by the way.
Yeah. Talk to me about that 25% percentages. Go over my head, mate.
Yeah, so it's a quarter. So the nearest to us is 3.03. I think we're 4.06.
Yeah,
which is 25% better than the average than any other team. Which is huge based on 5 games in a season. Huge. We continue with that, things will start going right. Joseph puts them chances away. Gnonto puts them chances away.
Yeah.
I know I said it last year. We'll be fine, but I truly believe that this team this year will be better than fine.
100%. And this is the thing, like, so a lot of people talk about Sheffield United, and I've watched already a couple of games of Sheffield United on the channel. The difference between them and us, it's not the manager, it's how clinical they are. Every time Gus Hamer goes through, and again, this will come back to personnel and could come back to bite us.
Fair.
But when it goes through, Gus Hamer finishes the chances. I've seen him now on a couple of occasions. Bang, they're in the back of the net. I look at other teams. I mean, West Brom have got an XG of 6. They've got the top scorer in the division in Josh Madger. You know, so they're a lot more clinical, and that's where we maybe have to take a step back and go, do you know what? We need to be looking at the players more, which is something I said about Saturday, that actually for me, the onus was on the players. Yeah, the second half we could have created more, but in that first half, Joseph and Nonto have to take the chance. If they take the chances and Solomon doesn't slip and we get a penalty, we're not even having this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It is bonkers, and it's very reactive, and it gives us content creators something to talk about, I suppose. But
100%.
It's very, very difficult. And I know me and you were having a chat just before, just saying how tough social media can be when after a loss, because we are coming across these echo chambers that are growing in strength, and unfortunately, because people are believing what they're reading about Daniel Farke and how he's one dimensional. He hasn't got a plan B, and his subs are shit, and no managers has ever been as shit as him. I seen somebody even say the other day they'd rather have Jesse Marsh in charge, and they were being serious.
Yeah. I seen someone, and again, this is where we come back to that thing of not actually rating the manager and can't wait to switch. Someone actually said, I remember Jesse doing XYZ at a certain place and getting battered for it. And I went, this is where this is coming from. You backed Jesse when you fucking shouldn't have, and now you're not backing Farke, and you're trying to, like, I don't know. Them two things aren't even thing. That just shows me that you're annoyed Jesse got the boot, and are annoyed. I don't know. Like you say, it's agendas, isn't it? It's having a preconceived idea of something, and then when it's like, as soon as you have an opportunity to dunk, it's like, right, I'm gonna do that now and be like, get him out. But I do it as well. Like when we win 3 games on the spin, now I'll be going, you dickheads. Do you know what I mean? It's a part of the game, you know.
Of course it is, man. But I think the upsetting thing is that it's happening between fans, which before social media didn't often happen, or if it did, it was a conversation in a pub, and it was done with. But now it's there forever, and people can actually go back and say, "You said this, you twat," or do you know what I mean? And they can hold you to it. So I mean, I've just seen Tyler says we are playing penis ball. To be fair, we're not even anything like playing penis ball, mate. I don't know if you've been watching or what, if you're pissed up at games or what, but we do not look narrow and penis ball. Absolutely not. I'm not having that.
And Sophie says this is not an echo chamber. What I will say to that, Sophie, I've had Luke on, who's very much Farking. I had Jer on, who's on the line. Me and Connor spoke. He says he's not Farke out, but he is. We've had Gary on last night, who also said, yeah, I'm not really feeling it. I'm on the fence and he needs to change it around quick. So we've had loads of different opinions. We've also got the fans phoning tomorrow. And on all my panel shows, we have difference of opinions. So I don't appreciate that comment. Just because we're not agreeing with your comment right now doesn't mean it's an echo chamber. It just means that we don't agree with your viewpoint. That's all it is. Everyone's got an opinion and you're more than entitled to it. So yeah, definitely that's I'm just
going to try and find, because Tyler seemed to swear that we're still looking narrow. I'm just trying to find the average player position from the weekend, just to show him up, basically. Lineups. I can't find it now. I did have it somewhere, but we're not playing narrow. It's as simple as that, bud.
There you go. We've got some more comments. Liam, who I know is staunch Farking, he says, the thing is, we'll get rid of the manager, and if for some reason we don't go up this season, we'll be back here with to get a new manager, and that's all we do. There is a case for that, isn't there, having continuity and not just pushing the button all the time, and certainly not pushing the button after 5 games. It'd be crazy to do that, I think.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen, is it? Let's be realistic. Yeah. The 49ers fully believe in Farke. We've heard Angus talk about him on the square ball, and yeah, it's simply not going to happen. Look, as you rightly said before, if we're still having these conversations and we're back here after 5 more games, and we've lost 2 or 3 of those, then yeah, look, we should be beating the majority of this league. We've got I would say arguably one of the top 3 squads in the league, probably the top 2.
Top 2 was Burnley, I think.
Yeah, well, I think Sheffield United have got a great squad.
Their 11's great.
Their 11, sorry, yeah.
11.
I think their 11 probably equals our best 11. But I think Burnley have probably got an equally good squad in terms of depth. So yeah, if we are having these conversations, Joe, in a few weeks' time, then absolutely, I'll be here. And I've actually, I know you said I was very much Farker in, but I've been very, very quick to criticise some of the things he has done this season as well. You know, in terms of making changes at particular times and things, and potentially starting with Gruev and Ampadu, which I don't think is great at home, because I think they both counteract each other. Farker getting the central midfielders to drop in behind the defenders. I don't like that, especially when we should be on the front foot, because it's almost reducing the amount of players you've got to pass to in front of you. Because yes, we're not going to concede as many because we're going to have somebody in his position. However, we're not creating any additional attacking options, because that strikes taking the ball 10 yards out, and Ampadu's now filling at centre back. So you've just swapped the 2 players around essentially. So look, he's not perfect. I don't think anybody's perfect, and there's certainly things we can and should be improving on. Another way is set pieces. But yeah, look, we've never been great at set pieces, have we? I remember when.
Well, Bielsa was shit at him, bro. Bielsa was terrible at him, defending them, and you know what I mean?
Didn't Christensen famously bring in, was it Vito, whatever?
Yeah, I remember the Gadji. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And we thought, great, we've busted the spell that we've had cast upon us, that we're going to be great at set pieces now. Yeah, that was the only goal I think we scored, and Christensen got sacked a few weeks later.
Yeah, them set piece coaches now, though, he was ahead of his time, that guy, because they've all gotten. Villa scored one tonight and he was celebrating. There's one at Arsenal, so maybe we should re-employ one, because we are fucking shit at him. I will say that much. Yeah, it's a bit mad. Mr. Dodo says, member for 7 months already. Just about kept my sanity in check with this bloody club and its antics. Yeah, it's a bit mad. Listen, these are the things as well. Mandy Morn, who says, well, Joe, just watch Villa 3-0 in the Champions League. Can't but think back to, do you know, I've got a group chat with Andrea and Lockie, and they were both saying exactly the same thing. And as I was watching it, the third went in, but that was the one that got disallowed just after half time. But it is mad, in it, how that story developed. Obviously, we end up with Jesse. Villa stay up on a technicality of a goal line decision, and then now playing in the Champions League, and you just think, but this is how important it is to not make snap decisions and make the right decisions. And
absolutely,
you know, that's a point that we're talking about. We could sack him tomorrow, but we don't know who that next option is. And I would say it's better to back Farker right now when he gets you 90 points. His last 3 completed seasons have all wielded 90 points. 90 points is going to get you in a position where you're going to be in the top 2, in my opinion. And everyone keeps coming, 90 points don't get you up. You look at it incorrectly, folks. 90 points, normally there's only 2 teams that get 90 points. That's the point. Not that you drop us in a season where there's already 2 that have got 90. You know, that's
look, I mean, people won't admit it, but that spell went through under Bielsa. People were openly and actively calling for Marcelo Bielsa out because we needed change. We needed change if we wanted to stay in that league. Now look what that did. Look at the shit show of management we've had since then.
Oh, man, I got called a Bielsa sexual. The lot, man. I got called all sorts. No, I remember it, though, bro. Bielsa sexual. I remember Rob. Do you remember Rob getting battered? Rob, he said, the comedian, he said, I would rather go down with Bielsa, and people fucking hammered him. And now people are saying it. And I was like, well, there you have it. Because, oh, don't, mate. Because I told people, I remember sitting on this show saying, you don't know how good you've got it, man. You'll never get a period like this, man. That's why I cried, bro. I cried for that man because I knew, Luke, I sort of knew, like, you don't ever get that what we had with him. I'm telling you, when else have we had it before? We haven't.
I think another thing worth noting on the Bielsa era is he brought a lot of people back to Leeds who'd fallen out of love with Leeds as well. So a lot of these people now who have started and been taking a bit more interest in Leeds United, I suppose. Probably I didn't have that much interest in 2017, 2016, 2015, pre-Bielsa. So whilst it's been great and it's brought loads more people back to the grounds, and there's a 30,000, 40,000 people waiting list or whatever it is. It's also brought a lot of different opinions and lots of people who expect that to be the perm and the norm, when actually that's a winning the lottery type situation was getting Marcelo Bielsa to the club. So I just don't think. I want to see us win, and obviously, but I think that comes before playing a nice brand of football. And ultimately, football is played in a particular way. Now, you watch in the Premier League, how many teams play an attractive brand of football? There's not many. I mean, there's probably 2 or 3, and at a stretch, you're probably looking at City, Arsenal, Liverpool, maybe. And then I don't see many outside that. Postecoglou maybe at Spurs when they're playing somebody not as good as them. But other than that, then there's not a lot of teams. You watch the Premier League. I watched
Chelsea Bournemouth other day, and it was like pulling teeth.
Turgid, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. They were both playing the same style. It was awful.
Yeah, it's horrible, man. It's not. It's exactly. That's what I mean. It's what is it that saying, like? Is it better the devil you know or something like that? Yeah. It's better. I don't know. I just think, it is a case of wanting to throw the baby out with the bathwater after one game. I think that's the most realistic thing. Now, to have a difficult conversation, what about these next 4, Luke? Because I was chatting offline with my friends about this and saying, like, what is the barometer? Because let's say we get to the next international break, which is the 2nd week in October, right? We've played Cardiff, which he's got to win, by the way, because if you think the noise is loud now, if you go against Cardiff, who were bottom of the league, have conceded 11 goals and scored 1. If you don't win there, that's bad, right? Even we'll admit that, So you've got Cardiff, you've then got Coventry at home, who will play a low block. They did us last season doing it, You've then got Sunderland.
The worst squad this year, though. They have got a much worse squad.
Yeah, they do, But you've then got Sunderland and Norwich, which will be 2 difficult games. Like, what points? He does need quite a lot of points, because my worry is, let's say, for example, he gets 4, right, from 4, which is bad. And I think he'll get more. But if he got 4, we'd still be well out of the playoffs at that point. Just looking at those that are above us with only 4 points. So there could well be a conversation at that point.
Yeah, no, I think, and rightfully so. I think if we only pick up 4 from this next 4, look, the 3 games after Cardiff are tougher games, but they are games that we should still be winning. Let's be real.
Yeah, no, 100%.
The toughest one for me is Sunderland away. The last of those 4. Norwich been average this season, I think, so far. We probably should be going there, but then you've got the added heat of it being the Daniel Farke derby and the additional stress and everything else. But yeah, I think we beat Cardiff and Coventry relatively comfortably. I think Norwich will probably win as well. I think we need to be taking 8 points out of those 4 games. I think we need 2 wins and 2 draws as a minimum.
And if you get that, you're laughing. This is the thing, innit? Look, we're not saying they're in a conversation that needs to be happened, but it just doesn't need to happen after 1 loss. If that turns into a run of losses, then of course, because Leeds United cannot afford to not go up. We know that, right? We know that because look at the summer we had this. Think about next summer. My God, you're then looking at, I don't know, hoping there's more youth to come through and just spending a little bit of I'd worry about it. And it'd be rough going for us, mate, in all honesty. But
I actually think the 2 games after that one might decide.
Sheffield United.
Sheffield United and Watford, both at home as well, which we need to be creating a bit more of a,
because then there's another international break in November.
Yeah.
And then that could be it, couldn't it? Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I think the next four are important, but I don't think they're as tough as Sheffield United and Watford at home, who started really, really well. And I think Sheffield United, if they stay injury free, they probably will be the best team in the league.
Do you think
other than us? If they stay relatively injury free, I think Sheffield United probably. I think Sheffield United's 11 probably pips ours on paper.
They've got a better 10. They've got a better striker. They've got Gus Hamer in midfield, who's been playing on the left. I do like Arblaster.
You got the young lad. That's Arblaster. Is that Arblaster? The young
Arblaster, yeah. The two centre backs. One of them's really good. Ahmed Hodzic, Burrows at left back. I don't. There's. I guess I might take a couple. I don't know if it's better. Yeah.
How many would you take from that team to start for you now, though? You'd take Kiefer Moore, wouldn't you?
You'd take Kiefer Moore.
You'd take O'Hare.
I'd take Gus and O'Hare, and that'd probably be it. Maybe I'd swap Gilchrist for Bogle. You have Bogle back, and we'll take Gilchrist. But yeah, maybe that, and that's three important players, though, isn't it? Gus Hamer.
And they're much better than ours as well, aren't they? Let's be honest. Those three.
Yeah.
I use that loosely because I think Joseph will be much better player than Kiefer Moore in the future. But in terms of where they are now in their careers and what they've done and who they are, I certainly think those three would have been. Why didn't we go after O'Hare for free?
It's crazy, mate. It's crazy. They obviously felt it was better to wait, didn't they? For whatever reason, our owners think it's better to wait till the end of the window because then they get Solomon. But I also feel that I like it's all good Angus. We can talk on that as well. It's all good Angus mentioning the Buendia thing, but had we have got Buendia, we wouldn't have got Solomon. I don't think they'd have done two big loans like that from the Premier League. So I don't know why you use that. That's just my opinion. But I also think that was batshit crazy to think that we were going to get Buendia anyway. He came on at the weekend after a long layoff from injury and they were all buzzing. So
yeah, I don't know how much I believe about that. Whether it was just an inquiry. Do you know what I mean? Can we have him?
Yeah, of course.
No.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm relatively chill at the minute, but as you say, I might be coming on here after the next 4 or 6 and be the complete opposite, or I might even be buzzing. Do you know what I mean? It's football, and ultimately, it's not. It's one of the things I said to one of my mates who was absolutely stressing. He texts me all the time, and he's the most negative person in the world. I said, "Look, mate, I don't give a fuck. Just get on with it. It's football. Like it. Just relax a bit. Like we can't change it." Getting angry and stressed about every single decision that the club make or Farker makes or Manor Solomon makes isn't going to make you feel any better. So just crack on with it. Enjoy the good times, like because we might be in a position in 2 or 3 years' time where we'll look back and actually say how great was it under Daniel Farker. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you bang on the money. What needs to change then, just to finish up, mate? Like what for Cardiff? What changes are you making if you're in charge?
I'm not making. I'm dropping one of. I'm not dropping Ampadu. I'm dropping Gruev, and I think Gruev's been very, very tidy at the start of the season, but I don't think he offers enough going forward. I'm swapping him for. I don't know if Tanaka's ready. Probably will. Probably does. Probably is. People know more about him than I do. I've seen him a couple of times. He looks very, very tidy. Tires players out, gets forward and finds a lot of space. So I'd probably look at bringing Tanaka in. After the last performance, I'd also consider dropping Willie Nunto and giving Ramazani a bit of a run.
Everyone's hammering the others, except it almost feels like, and I don't know what it is, bro, but I almost feel like Nonto and Joseph are getting a bit of a free pass, personally. I do think that, especially online, and I know that's not a fair barometer, but I do think they're getting a bit of a free pass.
Well, I go back to my example. Had Paddy Bamford missed those 2 opportunities at the weekend,
it'd be all his fault.
Public enemy number 1, Daniel Farker would be mentioned, but very, very little. It'd be Paddy Bamford this, Paddy Bamford that, or Pirro if he's missed them chances. But Pirro probably wouldn't have done, to be fair, because he's just absolutely calm.
But then he wouldn't have created that separation, would he, from the defender? Not a chance.
No, absolutely. And to be fair to Matteo Joseph, he made the opportunity himself. He got himself in that position, but he needs to be burying that as a number 9 at Leeds United. So, I think I think they're the two changes I'll be making, if any. I'd like to see Schmidt.
We need to see him sooner as well. If he's going to make changes, I'd like to see him sooner. Yeah. Ramazani with that long left, pointless for me.
Yeah, and Tanaka in the 89th minute or whatever it was with 1-0 down. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, Farke needs to be a bit bolder. And that's one of the things actually I mentioned was is there a lot to do with the weight of Leeds United? You know, we said this with Simon Johnson. Is it the weight of Leeds United? Norwich, medium-sized club, they're not huge. The weight of expectation isn't as high as it would be at Leeds United. Sorry,
no, of course.
Is he a bit afraid to make two attacking changes in case it goes wrong? But ultimately, you've got to roll the dice at some stage, haven't you?
You do, mate. No, yeah, you do. Definitely, you have to, mate. I know this is a bit tongue-in-cheek, but it won't be long. I know he didn't make the bench last week, right? Because he's not ready yet. But if he gets to a position where he makes the bench and he's fit enough, Farke will play him, I think.
No, I think so. And I don't think it'd be a bad thing.
Imagine the fan base, bro, if he starts, man. They'll go into
I don't think it'd be a bad thing because whilst he offers very little in terms of his finishing, his movement is unrivaled at this level, and he does the unselfish things and creates so much space for your Willie Nontos and Solomon and Aronson. He just will naturally against these low blocks, and we've shown it will work, but sacrificing a proper number 9 who can score, you know. So it's 6 or one of the half a dozen of the other. So, but yeah, he's not an impact player, is he? So no. What else do you do with him?
Yeah, no, exactly. It'll be meltdown settings, mate, when Bamford starts.
By the way, he scored more Premier League hat-tricks than Rashford, so
yeah, there you go. There you go. Listen, folks, we'll bring it to a close. It's been great chatting with Luke. There'll be a fan. So for all you people who disagree with me and want Farke out, there's an opportunity tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Sorry, me and JT are getting together. So all the members. There'll be a show, so if you want to come in and tell us why Farke should go, and for those genuinely, I keep getting comments calling me all sorts of names and calling me flip flop and all that sort in a sort of respectful way. But all I would say to you is come on the show and give your point and reasons why, because it is very easy to be in the comments calling people all sorts or whatever, or maybe being a little bit harsh. Come on that show, that's what it's for. Become a member. Some of you have even got memberships because they're gifted out free sometimes. So you might be lucky enough to do that. Come on and give your points. Because we'll do that tomorrow night and it'll be good. So yeah, we'll do that. Now, straight after this, folks, there is a redirect set for Ought to Know Better, the Wu-Tang Clan of the Leeds United content creation space. So you don't need to do anything. So when this ends, you'll go straight on over. Now, there's 242 of you here. I want to see the majority of you over there. And I want you to put in the chat, Just Joe Raid, okay? Because I'm going to go over now and make sure you're there as well to checking up on you, yeah? So go on over, put that in the chat and watch the Ought to Know Better lads tonight. So, yeah, it'd be good if they start their show in 2 minutes and there's already over 100 people there waiting.
They'll be late. They'll be late. Don't worry. We've got
they'll be late.
A new intro put together as well. I don't know if you've seen that. There's nobody's seen it yet. I haven't even seen it.
What's that? Sorry.
He's put a new intro together as Gilly, so it's a little bit. Don't know what it is. He's not told anybody. He's put a quick video on. He's like taken out. If you get a chance, just have a quick look on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch it now. Yeah, I'll go watch it now. But yeah, I'm gonna finish it now, and then you'll go straight on over to Ought to Know Better. So make sure you put it all in the chat. Thanks for tonight as well, folks, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.
Cheers for having us.